Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay? We're having a couple of technical difficulties, but I did not want to keep everybody waiting. Um, so I have a special guest tonight that I don't know. I probably won't get to have the chance to have them on here again, but I am absolutely grateful to have them on here tonight. My guest tonight, who means the world to me and who I'm trying to figure out how to get up here, is actually MM Marko. And we are sharing a microphone while I'm trying to figure out how to get his box up here. He's here with me. And we are going to talk about couples prepping together because we have actually found out how rare it is. So, do you want to say hello and make sure everyone can hear you?
Hello. How is everyone? Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Let me know if you guys can hear him or if I need to move the microphone while I'm still trying to get this fixed.
All right. Sweet. Thanks for the 5x5.
Okay, awesome. I wasn't sure with how the microphone was set up if everything was good or not. I'm still trying, guys. Anyways, when I first started my channel, people were surprised that we were a couple prepping together. I guess this is not a common thing, which I did not realize.
Yeah, we were surprised that there aren't very many couples that actually prepare together.
Yeah, so we started prepping together right off the bat. There was no question. Once we saw all of the um, crazy stuff going on in the world, we didn't even discuss it. We just started automatically jumping into um, prepping together. Outlaw says it's about time. And I try to tell people, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm still trying to fix this because it's weird not having two people up on the screen. But if you guys are okay with it, I will stop messing with it and trying to get him up here, which is just fine. But I try to tell people that we work well together because whatever I am lacking in, he backs me up. And whatever he is lacking in, I back him up. And we make a power couple in pretty much everything that we do together. And I know a lot of couples out there, usually you have one that thinks the other one's crazy or overreacting or whatever, but we've never actually had that. We've always um, helped each other, supported each other, and helped each other think outside of the box. We have conversations often of our different viewpoints of what's going on in the world. And sometimes I get out of hand with my thoughts and he brings me back in, which is awesome. And sometimes I see things that he's not aware of and let him know. Um, but what are your thoughts, honey, on what is going on in the world today?
There's a whole lot of everything going on all at once. It's coincidental, maybe, that you've got these food factories catching fire, trains catching fire, balloons showing up, UFOs. It's it's a little much for all these random events to be occurring at the same time.
And now the infamous, I'll call it the chicken cold now, um, supposedly spiraling out of control where they have to start killing all these chickens everywhere.
Right.
And the eggs that went double, triple, quadruple in price. It's everything. We can't look at anything or go anywhere without getting hit by something that a lot of times we both agree that a lot of it is to cause panic within the masses, which actually really makes me happy that we are a couple that can ground each other, because if one gets stressed out or, just in the crazy thoughts and going down the rabbit holes, the other one can draw them back in. Did you see what Outlaw said?
Yeah. Oh, plus all these active shooter events or mass
Oh, yeah,
shootings.
yeah.
That's another one to add to the list. It just seems like it's like a big distraction. Focus here, but then, oh, well, something else caught fire. Oh, now there's this event happening in the war overseas. So it's just a lot going on. It seems odd. It's off.
Yeah, Greenleaf, that I'm hearing that actually. And also um, to help fight back in the actual virus itself. Yeah. Oh, that too. Yep. All the solar flares and so forth. That's another thing. We just
Yeah.
had a huge. They said a part of the sun broke off, and I want to say they said it was Earth facing. Um, I don't really know how a part of the sun falls off. To be honest, I know there's solar flares and explosions off of the sun, but to have a chunk of the sun fall off, I don't really know how that can happen. Since, from what I understand, it's made out of gas, a huge ball of gas. Yeah, the war's never ending.
Hey, so the sky is literally falling. Look, the sky is falling.
Maybe that's why they're killing all the chickens.
Maybe.
Chicken Little's been running around saying that too much.
Yeah.
So, what's the hardest thing you think when couples prep together?
Hardest thing for me to do is walk around with you while you're wearing your tinfoil hat.
Rabbit holes. Rabbit holes. I fall down them sometimes, guys. I think for me, the hardest thing to do, well, the hardest thing is not having the money to do what we want to do, or the time.
Oh, Irishman looked up. Nah, yep. Now it's over. We're done. Yeah, well, I think one of the other issues is because we each have our own strengths. It's hard to coordinate and budget for everything at once. I mean, everyone thinks you have to have this huge stack of cash in order to prepare or put food back or get supplies, but the best and easiest way and most affordable way to do it is little by little, and you just stay consistent.
I think one of the things we did too that really helped us out so that we didn't double purchase things
Oh, yeah.
was we started both purchasing things separately and not talking to each other, and that was really really bad, except for when it came to coffee, because you can have a never ending supply of coffee in this house. But we were starting to come home with the same items, and that is hard. There's certain things you don't need five or six of. And so what we decided to do is we created a private list on Amazon that we're both on, and we'll look for things on Amazon and we'll add it to this list. We won't necessarily buy it from Amazon, but it's accessible by both of us. So if we see something out or somewhere else or a better quality, at least we have the idea of what we need to still get, so that we can go and get it and not have two, three, or four of them. So that's definitely a great tool, I think, that we started right off the bat. And then another thing is keeping track. I started putting sticky notes on the wall of what we took out of our food, so that if we took something, we could replenish it. Um, we tried to keep a written list on a notepad, and that didn't work, because if you didn't see the notepad, you didn't write it down. So we started sticky pads on the door, to the pantry, so that
if we took something out, we could see right there, oh, we need to write it down and go get it. Another thing that I lack in with certain things, and my husband is a little OCD with, but it's a good thing, is researching items. There's a lot of stuff out there that says that it'll do um, 10 million different things when it actually only does 5 because they're trying to sell it. Um, and he will do extensive research on items to know what's junk and what's not. And there are some things out there that are $300-400 when you can get a better quality one for half the price. So it's nice to be able to have a partner prepping with you that knows, what to look for. There are certain things, like when it comes to, say, solar. I don't know anything about solar, you guys. I'll be completely honest. I know that you plug in the panels and you put them out in the sun, and that's about all I know. And keep your batteries from freezing. That's kind of the gist of my knowledge when it comes to solar. But he's done enough research and trial and error and so forth that he knows what to look for in a generator. He knows what kind of batteries to look for, what type of cables, and what are the other bits? I don't even know the other bits that go to a whole solar system.
Oh, batteries. Batteries are the most important part. Getting good lithium iron phosphate batteries, chargers, chargers if the sun isn't out. And just out of curiosity for the chat, how many of you are actually a prepping couple? If you're a prepping couple, can you type 2 into the chat just so we could see?
Two for if you're prepping couple, 1 if you're not, and 3 if you are the same person, but 2 and 1 for those that hear voices. JD's single, prepping by faith 2, sassy gal 2, coffee first 1, Jeep girl 1,
Mickey.
Mickey, yep, Dusty. Okay, so it's about 50-50. TJ, Dave. My husband sees y'all's chat too, so I don't actually have to read everything out to him. It's just a habit. It's a habit, guys. Outlaw. I knew he'd do 3. I said 3 just for him. So Marie says I don't have to read it, but for the rest of you, for budgeting, for us, budgeting daily life with prepping an emergency fund, i.e. our sweet pup ending up in the hospital. And yeah, that's another thing too, is having to have the funds for the emergencies that come your way, or having to do car maintenance, making sure, oh, that's another area. I can change a tire, and that's about it when it comes to the gas as well. And obviously I can fill a tank. And then I know what chemicals to put in to help clean the engine, but I would have known that if it weren't for my husband teaching me. But as far as changing oil, changing brake pads, those are things that I don't know how to do myself, but I'm able to help him. But he's the knowledgeable one when it comes to that. I know basic medical. He knows a little bit more medical than I do. I know I have some weapons knowledge. He has a lot more than I do. So it's a definite balance between us two, as far as, what do we need? What do we need to know? Where are we going from here? What do we have to save up for? What do we have to budget for? And there does come times where we get a little aggravated with each other, but it's not so much us getting aggravated at each other. It's everything around us going on that it starts putting a toll on people, especially when you have a couple doing it together. I think it's a little bit more weight on both of our shoulders, trying to get stuff done within our means. And it gets quite stressful sometimes with everything that they throw at us at once. We both have strong faith, so we know no matter what, we're going to be okay. We have the same morals, we have the same ethics. So we know where our lines are drawn, and we support each other to not cross them, come what may, which included the jab. We talked about that when we first saw they were starting to roll it out, that we both decided we were not going to take it no matter what. If we weren't going to be able to go out to restaurants, then guess what? We weren't going to go out to restaurants. If we were going to lose our jobs, then so be it. We were going to find a way to get another job or find another way to bring more income in. And that's something I think is very important when you have a couple prepping, is supporting each other no matter what the decision is. And if it means, giving way a little bit, you have to be able to meet in the middle and compromise things together and discuss things together. Let me see if there's any questions while I've got in my little questions tab. Oh, Noodlehead. That was, honey, when did we go out with Bruno? Is that 2 years ago? Year and a half ago?
I think probably 2 or 3 years ago.
So Noodlehead, to answer your question, it's been
was the
between
question?
2 and 3 years. Her question was, when did I take the picture of the sunset in my banner?
Oh.
So between
That way.
2 and 3 years ago, roughly. Let me see. Do you guys have any questions for my husband? This might be the only chance you ever get. Hopefully I haven't missed any. He's better at watching the chat than I am. Yeah, Wolfing, that's right. You do trial and error. You learn together as well. You learn what works and what doesn't. And yeah, it's been a few trial and errors, but it's definitely something good to do together. Yep, Sassy Go. I'm not happy that your daughter lost her job, but I'm happy she stood her ground. There's a lot of people that did not stand their ground, and I'm grateful she stood her ground on that and didn't bend into the fear. Yeah, that is true.
Sucks for Winter Homestead's brother-in-law losing 3 jobs, but good for him for standing his ground.
There's a lot of people that didn't. A lot of our friends didn't. A lot of our friends took the job for fear of losing their jobs, and then the government backpedaled on it, and they were really upset that they crossed their own line. And I love my friends to death, but that's their own fault. You have to draw your line somewhere, and you have to have enough confidence to not cross it. Don't let anyone push you into a decision or do something, especially with your body. Don't ever let anyone tell you you have to do something with your own body. Stand your ground. So Outlaw, that is true. We it's actually quite surprising, as much time as we spend together, that one of us is not buried in the backyard, because we spend pretty much every waking hour together. But we've been together for a long time. So, if we just want our quiet time, then we just go into another room, because there are times that we need to just separate and just pull ourselves back together and, recenter ourselves. And that means sometimes, being in separate rooms, or, one goes out with friends, or one goes out and has coffee with family, or, whatever. Sometimes that's what you have to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have a strong enough relationship that we're not worried about it. He only gets in trouble when I have dreams that he's done things he shouldn't be doing. That's usually when he's in trouble. See, I'm still.
Oh, Pete's in there.
Hey, Pete. Glad you can make it. I'm going to try to help you out with that other thing that we were talking about too. If you want, I can definitely help you with that. Backlash and 17 days off work for getting the job, or for not getting the job?
I think not getting the job. I wish they would have threatened me with that. I'll take the days off. They
Yeah.
would have regretted that.
Yeah. Well, look at how many people lost their jobs, and some people actually quit and resigned
Mm-hmm.
before the deadline. So a lot of them regretted regretted. A lot of them regretted that decision as well instead of waiting. I'm still catching up with chat with. Oh, you guys have any questions for him? Ask him anything. Ask him what number you're thinking of. No, just kidding. This is your chance.
Oh, I see marshmallows.
There better not be marshmallows.
Oh, Wolf flipped it on me. You see it?
If I would have thought of that, I would have. But y'all wouldn't have seen it. It would have just looked like I was throwing it at the wall. So. Still. What is something you enjoy prepping together? And don't say food just because you like to eat it. That's not okay.
I would say camping gear.
Buying camping gear or trying it or both?
Well, both. If you're going to buy gear, you have to try it.
But sometimes it's fun just to go and shop.
Well, that's true.
Especially some of the cool things that we didn't even know existed that they just recently created.
No, it would definitely be buying camping or outdoor gear. By the way, if you're buying gear, please test it. Try it out, even if you have to go in the backyard or, whatever.
To New York.
Yeah, travel down the road. Try your stuff before you need it to make sure it works and it's not going to fall apart on you.
And make sure that you make a list of everything that you need to bring.
Well, you'll learn that quick.
Yeah, but you don't want to be in New York and learn that.
No.
So, Outlaw, you probably don't know this. I don't think I told any of you guys this. When we went up to New York, I know that all of you all heard about that trip to Hudson Valley's meetup, the yard sale, which was the meetup. And it was cold. It wasn't as cold as I think it is there now, but it was really, really, really cold. Yeah. No, well, that was something that I didn't realize I needed, Outlaw. But we actually also forgot our heater. We didn't have a heater the whole time that we stayed there.
Who'd have thought you'd need a heater in New York?
So that last night that we stayed, we actually had to get in the car and warm up. We learned our lesson. So make a list and make sure we had everything else except for the heater. And it was cold, y'all. It got down to the 30s at night. It was super cold. So there's questions. A lot of questions. Hi, Joe. You put that in the question thing. Joe Morgan.
Oh.
He put hi, all good to see you in the question box. So TJ wants to know if we were each prepping before we met. I was to some extent, but that's because I lived in Tornado Alley and winters. So she's asking if did you prep before you met me? I'm sure.
I would say I did because of hurricanes, since we're in the South. Oh, this was before we met. Oh, plus at the time I was still in the medical field, so I would be required to be at work either during the disaster, before or after. You got A, B, and C teams. So being medical at the time, I would need my stuff. But
you didn't see that comment. You can't drive on parkways with trailers.
I
learned that lesson too.
I bet you can.
Just don't get caught. I still actually don't know the route to get there without taking that way, you guys. I don't even know how to get back up there without taking that same way. So we went on a road we weren't supposed to go on with a trailer, for those of you that don't know. And luckily we did not get pulled over because somebody else was already pulled over. And I had numerous warnings not to take that exit. And I didn't know I was on that exit till it was too late. So
It's not like you could turn around either
no,
with a trailer.
I'm just glad we fit in underneath the bridge because there was nowhere to turn around from that bridge either.
Oh, and Mickey, I saw your question about what do you EDC? Unfortunately, I don't anymore because I lost everything in a balloon accident.
All right, you guys. So Vision asks, what is one prep that you guys compromised on? That's a good question.
What do
He's going to have to answer this one because I normally get my way. Which sounds really bad, but he will remember more than I will.
I don't think we really had to compromise on anything.
It was just getting the education on something and
Yeah,
agreeing.
fortunately for us, most of the stuff has been mutual, or we presented our points well to each other to where we got our way. So it could go either way.
I can't really think of, I can't think of anything we really compromised on. Unless you want to count the Jeep as a compromise. But that was before we really started prepping, but that's become part of our prepping, and that was a compromise. We had to meet in the middle on that one.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess.
So I'm going to go with that, the Jeep. The Jeep was a compromise for both of us because we both wanted something different, but we both came to an agreement on that because it had almost everything of what we both wanted. And then shortly after that, we got rear-ended, and now the Jeep has got a mind of its own.
It was more utilitarian compared to what we used to drive.
Wolfgang asked, oh wait, I'm sorry, I skipped. Fed Up American asked, what is our most important prep? And on this one, I think we have different answers because mine is food.
I've got two: security and medical. Obviously, since I have a background in it. But yeah.
I knew we'd have different answers on that, but I think our importance to us is our strength. I think that's why they are our important prep, is because they're our strength. That's why there's different answers.
Yeah.
Wolfgang wants to know, Marco, what's your favorite movie?
Ooh, a tough one.
I'm missing all of chat too because I'm in the questions.
Yeah, I'm thinking way too hard about the questions. Can I get a genre? Narrow it down?
Sure. ABC Patriot says, how can you provide security when you lost everything in a balloon accident?
Yeah, I know. It's rough, but you know, you don't have to reload nunchucks. So there's that.
I'm missing questions in the chat too, but favorite genre of movies. How about that? Since you can't narrow it down.
What was the question?
genre of movies?
I mean, I'm mainly an action adventure guy, so but
Anything that blows up or shoots
or fights.
or fights?
Yeah, like the old Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee movies to John Wick movies.
Those are good movies.
Yeah.
Prepared Irishman says, "What do you guys like doing together, prepping wise?" I would say testing out gear.
Yes.
That's my favorite.
Especially when the gear works out and all that time and effort of researching everything actually works out.
Or trying to figure out how to do things better or smarter.
Yeah. I think we're at the point where we need to be more efficient, especially with all these events in the world going on all at once. I think if you have to leave, even with natural disasters, uh, that window of leaving is getting smaller and smaller, especially if your area is getting developed as much as ours is. I mean, just the past 3 years, traffic has become so much worse. And so have the drivers. Never mind the potholes that are going to slow you down, all the construction. But I think becoming efficient with your plans and how you're going to react to certain scenarios has to be better.
Winter Homestead, how long have you been hardcore prepping? Define hardcore prepping, because I've been in winter storms, I've been in Tornado Alley, I've been on the hurricane coast all of my life. So as far as food, candles, heat, and then I grew up camping. So having the camping gear, that's something that has always been in my life. When I was even younger than that, it was living overseas. So it's always been a part of my life. I just didn't realize how important it was at the time. It was always a basic thing that my family did because of where we lived. It just recently came to light on how useful those skills were and how it went from being for fun to being for survival. It was a switch that clicked once all this COVID and everything came out. But really, it's something that our family did before for other reasons. Honey?
Sorry, am I supposed to answer that? I was reading the
Yes,
chat.
I know we're missing questions. I did see one of Mickey's questions that I'll ask you too, but there's a long list here too.
Okay.
So how long have you been hardcore prepping?
What did you say?
I said we've pretty much done it all our life for different reasons, though. It was fun. It was for not for fun, for other reasons, and now it's become more of a survival important thing.
Yeah, my family's always put food back, kind of like the old ways where you always had a full pantry and you weren't grocery shopping every third day, which I find, or even every week, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I guess it ramped up once you and I got together and started seeing the whole picture and paying attention to
The lies.
events. Yeah.
The lies.
Rabbit hole.
All the lies. I put this one up because I didn't want to lose it, but there are still some on the other one. How much first aid do you carry?
Well, it depends. Are you talking about what do I carry in my emergency bag, my vehicle?
Yeah, you'll
I've
have
got-
to define which location, Mickey, if you want a specific answer, but that question to your question answered a good bit. JD, I do not know the answer to that. I vape actually. I used to smoke a pack of cloves a day, which, if you all don't know what cloves are, they're basically like mini cigars. And I used to smoke a pack of those a day. And I went into vaping so that I could stop smoking a pack of cloves a day. And then I slowly decreased my nicotine level. So now my nicotine level is 3, which is the lowest you can get before 0. And I couldn't tell you how to quit this because I wouldn't be able to function and not hurt people if I didn't at least have my 3 milligrams of nicotine a day.
Oh, was that JD's question?
That was JD's question. Yeah.
Another way would be to slowly taper yourself off unless you actually have the urge to quit turkey. Cold turkey? Did I say cold turkey? I feel like I said the wrong word. Anyway,
Yeah, cold turkey.
quitting cold turkey. That's kind of hit or miss. I mean, a lot of people have done it that way and have had success, but weaning yourself off of it is probably easier and better and not so harsh on not such a shock to your system. There's also the nicotine patches, which will help. But actually with smoking and chewing tobacco, I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's actually an oral fixation. It's just a habit that your mouth develops. That's why they developed nicotine chewing gum, stuff like that. Or you'll notice people that have quit that were former smokers tend to snack a lot. So
Or chew gum.
Yeah.
Or chew on straws or chew on ice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that oral fixation, really.
So there's another question here.
It's for outlaw oral fixation.
Speaking of which, Outlaw's question, which Vision posted because we missed it, and he's probably going to be surprised by this answer. Outlaw wants to know whose idea was it to get that beautiful thing that you pull behind your vehicle?
It was mine. I had a different model picked, but we compromised. That's what we compromised on.
I've compromised on it.
Because I wanted a different model. But then you saw this, the one that we have now.
Yep. I love this one.
So I said, okay, twist my arm, as long as we get something.
So it was his idea to get the trailer, but we compromised to get the one we have because the one we have I think is badass and I love it. And my husband agreed. So yeah, I guess that was our compromise.
Fed Up says he smokes so he doesn't beat someone to death.
I'm right there with him.
Yep.
Vision wants to know what's the one prep that you wish that you didn't buy.
I don't have one.
Yeah, there's been a couple of items that I bought that I didn't do a whole bunch of research on, and it ended up being pretty chintzy, I guess you could say. But I guess it sucks that I wasted the money on those items, but it's good because it taught me and showed me what I was looking for, what I actually wanted. So, and it forced me to do more research.
Well, this question from Go West is actually why I say nothing, because Go West asked, what would you guys barter if you had to barter? and it would be the stuff that some of the stuff we originally bought, but we ended up getting better if we had to barter. So we have some stuff that we may not need, but it can be used for bartering later,
Yes.
which is why I say nothing, because anything we can't use or won't use, we can barter later if we have to, or help somebody out if need be that doesn't have it, but it will still kind of work for them. So if not for us, for somebody else.
We repurpose it.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to go back and forth for questions. Prep,
Oh, yeah.
ugh, I need more coffee. The Prepared Irishman, what type of gear, backpacking, car camping, what exactly do you envision if you had to use your gear? Living in the woods as far away from crazy people as possible.
You still have go with.
Oh, I'm sorry. The other question is, I can't pop it up. It's in the questions tab.
Oh, okay.
I keep going back and forth.
Gotcha.
So what type of gear, backpacking, car camping, and what exactly do you envision if you had to use your gear?
Well, I know from past experience having to evacuate the state for one of the major hurricanes is finding a place to stay because everyone and their grandmother's leaving. So they're most likely headed to the same spots you're heading towards, within driving distance. So all the hotels, the bed and breakfasts, those places are going to be booked up. And that's happened a couple of times. So in that scenario, it's finding a place crash.
And part of that is your networking too,
Yeah.
is making sure that you have hard copies of places across the United States that you could go no matter which direction you have to go. That to me is very important. But honestly, I envision having, if we have to leave where we are, it has to be fast just because of our location. And we're going to have to take back roads, and we're going to have to throw everything in our vehicles as quick as possible. And we are probably going to end up going into the woods somewhere and setting up camp for a day or two and then keep moving, because you can't really stay. If it gets to that point, you really can't stay in one spot for too long, because somebody is going to find you one way or another, whether it be the people that you're running from or others trying to run are going to run into you. And if they're desperate, you don't know what they're going to do.
And also our problem is our employer, with our employer, we're considered essential. So we're going to be at work until the very last minute, So like I said, our window is limited. It's a very tight window to leave if we have to.
So Mickey asks, how prepared are you for losing your spouse? That is a rough one that I don't think anyone wants to face. For me, it's going to be hard if it comes down to it. And it's not just losing necessarily. For me, it's not just losing him if something terrible were to happen. He could easily, if there was a draft, they could very easily pull him back. And to me, that's losing my spouse in a SHTF, because if he gets drafted and we go into full-blown war, I may not get my husband back for a couple years, and then I'm on my own. Do I have the basic skills? I do, thanks to my mother. Could I do surgery on someone? No. Can I protect myself? Absolutely. Can I survive in the woods? If I have to, I can. It's not going to be easy by any means, but that's also where the networking comes in, and you try to get together with other people to help each other through things. It's a family outside of your family. But as far as basic skills, if I had to, I could, but it would be hard, and mentally it would be something that you have to force yourself through to survive yourself. Honey.
I don't think anyone can really be prepared to lose their spouse or significant other. So I know I'd be lost for a little while. Actually, a long while. But
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah. I don't think you can actually prepare for that.
There's still more questions.
Oh,
There is. I
Oh.
should have put my glasses on.
JD said he likes watching UFC kickboxing to release stress. I actually do the same. Oh, I do the same thing. I like One Championship. If you've ever watched them, their female fighters are amazing. They're ridiculous. They're they're bad. And actually, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm the opposite when it comes to UFC. I will hold on to my husband's arm, and I'm one of those that I will keep squeezing his arm, and I'll be yelling like, "Did you see that? That was cheating. That was an illegal move. What are they doing? How come they didn't see that?" Like, I'm one of those that I get so mad because the refs not seeing these things they're doing that they're not allowed to do. It actually stresses me out more because
She's like the soccer mom watching these fights.
it's terrible. I get really anxious watching, but more upset. I get mad because they're not seeing these things happening that they're not supposed to be doing. Just, it frustrates me. Fight fair. If there's rules, follow them. But if there's not, then by all means, take it out in the streets. Ugh. Roaming Prepper wants to know, how would you tell a newbie to structure their EDC? Y'all's opinions.
Oh. You have to have, well, the basics, really. Clothes, water, of course. Water is life. And let's see how far they plan on traveling with that bag. If they're going from work in the city to home in the suburbs or the country is one thing. Going from your location to 3 states over is totally different. So your bag would be set up differently. Plus, if you've got family in tow, I think it would be smart to spread out the supplies that you have. Just like how the military does it. You know, one carries the weapon, the other one carries the ammo, another one carries the extra barrels, magazines. So distribute the supplies.
And learn skills.
Yeah.
You got to learn skills.
But definitely have the basics covered.
Hi, Lady Spellbreaker. I'm catching up. I see you got in here a while ago. I'm going through. I know there's still more questions, but I'm checking the chat to see what questions I missed in there, if any. I've been going back and forth. Next question. How much time do you think we have? I'm going to assume you mean to prep. Till they come knocking on the door. There's always things that you can prep.
I'd say till the balloon goes up, but hey.
I think honestly, there's always something that you can prep. There's always something you can improve on. Even if you're not going out and buying things, you can always dehydrate. Um, do a staging area. If you don't have a staging area, reorganize things, repack your get home bag or your bug out bag. Um, I might joke when I say until they knock on the door, but until they're on your street, there's always something that you can prep. It doesn't necessarily mean go out and buy things. There's things you can do at home um, in order to get ready for different scenarios. So,
Make everything more efficient. And don't forget fitness. I mean, how are you going to carry everything if you can't walk 3 miles?
you're going to carry it.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
kidding.
I think that's one place, one area where everyone tends to put on the back burner is physical fitness. And I can understand. Maybe when I was still in my 20s or 30s, I'd be more motivated. But when everything aches and pops and hurts,
Mm-hmm.
it's more difficult to get started. But that's the difficult part. That's the only difficult part, is getting started and staying consistent with it. Because once you get started and you've got that routine going, it becomes second nature.
Not getting overwhelmed. You got to focus on one or two things and stick with it. And then don't try to do 5 things at once.
Yeah.
Unless you have a partner and then split it in the middle and one can do one half and one can do the other, which we have also done that as well.
But yeah, but also if, and I saw a lot of you were prepping by yourselves. I think making a list, and then prioritizing what you need so that everything's balanced will help you stay focused
Mhm.
and on task, instead of, oh, I need these 8 things to cover and I'm gonna try and cover them all at once. Your head's gonna explode. So just make a list of what you need, prioritize it, and then work on each one and just make a check. Once one thing is complete, next thing you know, it'll all be done.
I wanted to say something. Jane made a good point, and this is actually something my husband and I have talked about, is for those that are believers and know that the rapture is coming, if you're not going to be here, you're literally prepping for somebody else, which if you're a believer, you're okay with that. And if you're even not a believer and you plan on leaving, know that your stuff is going to go to somebody else that wasn't able to leave. And you just have to accept that and know that there's a chance that if we have to leave, we obviously can't take everything with us that we have. Nobody probably can. Um, but you have to come with a realization and acceptance that the stuff you have to leave behind will help somebody else. And in my opinion, God is going to make sure that those things are going to get to who they need to get to.
JD made an interesting statement. What he said. He said, you need a large pantry or cupboards to prep for 3 to 6 months.
Well, I liked Winter Homestead's comment to that, or an extra bedroom.
Or an extra bedroom. Yeah. Our pantry is actually it's like a broom closet. It's not very big. So we've got our prep spread out.
Mm-hmm.
We've made room and reorganized and found room and purged stuff we don't
Yeah.
use to make room for our preps.
And another thing you can do too for some people, they don't realize this, is if you have the funds to do it, is rent a small storage
Yeah,
so that way your stuff is not all in one place.
that's true. That's smart.
Or a couple of storages, or a trailer, or people who have land, they have a shed on their property out farther where their stuff is not all in one spot. Because if your
Yeah.
house burns down and everything's in one spot, you've just lost everything.
Right. It makes sense. I mean, especially if you're in an area or you have to deal with a situation where you have to bug out. The smart thing to do as far as storage facilities or an offsite area would be to have good balance of your preps on the way to wherever you're headed, your bug out location.
Like
That-
checkpoints.
Yeah, that way, I mean, you're not trying to pack your entire house full of preps in 20 minutes to get out of Dodge.
And if you don't have anywhere to put stuff, make sure you have a staging area of the most important things to bring.
Yep.
So that it's easy grab and go.
Yeah, we've got bins and tubs and trunks of must-have items to take with us.
And those get changed depending on the season as well.
Yeah, and they get rotated just
Mhm.
like the items in your bug out bag. You know, your clothing, you've got to change that out for the seasons.
So JD asked what will have to take place or event for us to use our prep food, meaning why do we prep? And I think this depends on the person prepping and their situation. So someone may go into their stuff if they lose their job for 6 months. Some people have working pantries where they're constantly taking stuff out of their preps, but they're replenishing. And some people stock stuff to put away for years and they're waiting for war or chaos to come about from their town or their street or whatever. So that really is, it depends on the person, where they live, and what they deem is an emergency situation before they go into their preps. Outlaw asks, how do you guys handle all the posers you've met, and who's better at sniffing out the bad apples?
Oh, he knows the answer. That's just,
I'm the better sniffer.
yeah.
And you do have to vet people though.
Yes.
You have to, you can't trust everyone. You have to talk to people and you have to get to know them. And some people are very good at lying and very good at manipulating. And sometimes it takes a little while to figure them out, but you have to take the time and you have to trust your gut. And you have to know what you're going to be willing to put up with and what you're not. And some people just take people in because they think a body is good, but that those people have to be able to support you. It's not just family that needs to support you. It's community needs to support each other. And when you're dragging along dead weight, it can hurt you. It can hinder you, especially in a SHTF. It can get you killed. In all honesty, it can get you killed. So you have to take the time to feel people out and know what their true intentions are before you go along with everything. I hope that answered that question for you. And back to the questions tab because they're still pouring in.
Mhm.
The Prepared Irishman, are you guys going to Visions Bug Out Weekend? We are not. We are not going to be able to make it. There is a lot of personal reasons and there is a lot of budgeting reasons that we are not going to be able to make that that trip. Jane RR Animal Rescue. How do we find mags or groups near us who are homesteading? I'm just assuming that was supposed to be safely and not safety. How do you find mags or groups? You have to talk to people, watch people, talk to people, spark up a conversation. I was working with Hudson in, I want to start a Facebook group locally because we don't seem to have one down in this area. Um, I think it might have been Johnny who also had suggested to me to look up on Facebook for foraging groups, which unfortunately we don't have any of those down here either. But a foraging group would be a good one to go into as well with like-minded people to find like-minded people. Um, but otherwise, you just got to talk to people, and that's part of feeling people out is, ask them what do they think about what's going on in the world. If they say I don't see anything going on, then obviously they're not prepared for whatever's coming. If they are believing all the nonsense, that probably isn't somebody that you want in your corner either, because they're most likely full of fear, which again could hurt you. If they say, there's a lot going on in the world, we're just doing the best that we can to try to prepare for it, that's an open door. Start talking to them, but be very careful what you share with them. Some people would just always try to get information and will always ask you what you have, what you're doing. Don't ever share all your information as far as what you have. Don't ever share where you plan on going. Um, don't don't tell people stuff. Basically, look at people as if they could be a thief, they could be a murderer, they could be a rapist. Talk to them in such vague information until you fully trust them, which there is really not very many people I fully trust. And even my fully trusted people, we still don't share everything that we have with them, and they don't share everything they have with us. And we're totally okay with that. We would never ask anyone to tell us what they have, what they're stocking, or where they are. That's just not something you do. But there, you can open a door with conversation to find other people in your area. You probably have neighbors. One of the good signs that I think in my neighborhood is we have neighbors that bring groceries in at night. That's a good sign that they are probably of the preparedness mindset, which seems silly, but it's a good little light there for other people that do the same thing. Look for people that are doing the same things you're doing and not speaking about it. Hey, triple threat.
Another way to find people in your area is also on in the chats on YouTube. We've met quite a few people, although they're not in our area, but we've driven to them to actually meet them in a general public space. So and as what was it? Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival has asked people, hey, if you're looking for somebody in your area, why doesn't everyone drop what state they're in or what area and
Connect that way.
connect that way? Yeah.
But if you are going to meet somebody, meet them in a public place if you can. Other preppers.
Yeah.
And preferably with other people. If you can't meet in a public place, make sure you don't go alone for safety reasons, because there are a lot of people that are crazy online and there are a lot of fake people online. You even have channels out there that are not real. They're trying to get information. So make sure you meet people with other people or meet people in a public place. Did I miss any questions? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine. Tell you what, if you're so inclined and you want to possibly meet people in your area, drop which state or area you're in so that others can see you, and maybe you can meet another like-minded individual, becomes a friend.
me a second, guys. I'm scanning the chat to try to catch questions. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A so I don't have to do this. I think I'm almost. Jane says you can bury things outside. Also, cut out sheetrock. Old refrigerator works. Waterproof tubes. Storage will be hit first by looters. Label stuff wrong. Meds are kids' toys. Canned food is kitchen towels. That's a good point. And make sure you stock up on meds. If you need meds, make sure you stock up on meds. Get the 90-day supply if you can. And look at herbal remedies. I've got lots of videos I'm pushing out. That's what I've been concentrating on the most lately is the herbal videos, because I think our medication is going to be inaccessible in the not too distant future. So find alternate ways to get your medications, even medications that you're not using anymore, guys. Still get those medications, those prescriptions filled, because somebody you know might need them that can't get them. So even if I'm not one that takes pain meds unless I absolutely have to, but if I get prescribed something, I'm going to go get it filled just so that I have it for future or for somebody else if it gets to where meds are no longer accessible. Let's see. Did I get everyone?
Hey, East Tennessee.
All right, so Roaming Prepper said, folks, remember in the U.S. it takes the Red Cross or FEMA 2 weeks at least to deploy for an unexpected emergency. Be aware you're on your own until then. Don't trust family. OS says don't trust family. Some family you can't trust, you're right. Jane says tent, sleeping bags, bungee cords to strap on pack, bike, while civilized, but no gas and a good lock. JD, do you all prep with a gun and many ammunition in an emergency? I personally think everybody should have some sort of self-defense. If you do not have a gun, I would, for security reasons, suggest that you get one. Pray that you never have to use it. But I do believe that everyone should at least have one if they ever need it. And I would get ammunition now while you can, because that is also going to become very scarce. JD, I follow my Bible. So I do believe we are in the birth pains, and I believe that we are probably going to be going into tribulation soon. So I think it's going to get so bad. It's not even thinking. It's, if you read your Bible, it tells you how bad it's going to get. It's going to be complete chaos everywhere. And there's going to be things happening that we've only seen in movies. If you want to be prepared, in my opinion, read your Bible. That tells you what's coming. At the same time, don't be afraid of what's coming. God gives us the ability to prepare, and he strengthens us. He protects us. He gives us discernment. He gives us guidance. He gives us comfort. So anytime that you feel overwhelmed, unplug and open your book. Unplug and meditate. Unplug and speak with him and tell him you need help pulling yourself back together. But the world, I think, it's not even a thing. The Bible says the world is going to get very bad, and I believe my Bible full-heartedly. Did I get everyone, guys? Did I miss any questions? We are at 1 hour and 15 already. Yes, go West. Thank you. The Bible says that they're going to be saying peace and safety, and sudden destruction happens. Another thing too that I want to bring up, and I know that this is this specific part of the Bible, and I know I have people in here that aren't believers, but that's okay. I'm going to say it anyways because it's my channel and I can. there's a section in the Bible that also says, basically, there's two sections I want to bring up to you guys. One of them is, where they're telling you, look in the desert, Jesus is over there. Look in the clouds, Jesus is over there. Don't look in those areas. For me, that also goes with all these distractions. They're pointing us to look at all these different directions, not necessarily for Jesus, but at all these different threats coming. And I don't think that those are things that, I mean, we have to worry about them, but we can also prepare for them. God gives us the ability to prepare for them. The other thing I want to mention is in the Bible, there's also a part that says, if you're on your roof, don't go into your house and gather your items. If you're in the field, don't go home and get your stuff. And there's going to become a point, and this is completely my belief, that the believers are going to be told when to go. And you're going to know that voice, and you're going to know where it's coming from. And you've got to listen. When you hear that voice, I don't care what you have, I don't care where you are, you need to listen to that voice, because it is a warning, and that warning is meant to protect you. I've had that in recent dreams, those verses, and my dreams mean a lot to me. I don't share my dreams. Just listen to that voice when it comes. And if sudden destruction does hit, please, if the voice is telling you to get out, get out. Do not go home and get your stuff. We're told that in the Bible. Do not go get your stuff. I think, did I get all the questions?
Jules, I know you're in Texas right now. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Roaming Prepper is in Texas also.
Mhm.
Trying to get out of Texas, but maybe try contacting him, emailing him at his email address in his about page on his channel, and he may have or may know of some people outside of Texas that you might want to get in touch with. You're welcome.
I finally got to the bottom of the chat. Okay, so answered that. JD, if you want to, you have a lot of questions in there, and if you want to email me directly, we can go further into that conversation. My email is mymotherspark@gmail.com. And I think if you type email into the chat, my email will pop up there too, and we can discuss that further. But we are at the 1 hour and 15 mark. 1 hour and 20-minute mark, which is a long time. I was trying not to go over an hour, but we had the technical difficulties. I'm going to close this out if we have no more last minute questions. If you have a question, pop it in quick. Otherwise, I'm going to let my husband say his last words, and then I will say my last words, and we will go from there. So, honey, do you have any last words?
Just keep preparing, and don't get overwhelmed, because then you'll get unproductive. So if you start feeling overwhelmed, unplug, take a break, do something other than being plugged in and prepping. Take a break, and you need that mental break. Thanks for joining in on this live. I appreciate it. Thank you for all of your support. Don't forget to hit the like or the dislike. You can hit the dislike, it's fine. It's not my channel. So anyway, thank you guys.
And my last words, guys, as always, is keep praying. Keep your faith. Don't be afraid. Know that you are never alone. You're not doing this alone. Ask for guidance. Ask for discernment. Keep your head on a swivel. Learn skills. Learn from other great communities. Build a community amongst each other. Help each other. Love each other. Support each other. And just know in the end we win. That is all I really want to say. And thank you so much, my moderators. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you to my husband who so graciously came on here with me. He does not like going on my lives. He's shy when it comes to that. So I'm grateful that he took this time that we could talk to you all as a couple. And just stay safe. Much love, y'all.